Oh my god, that could have gone so much worse. But we're back today once again reviewing your Depop shops and showing you how you can improve them. Even if your account isn't included in this video, 100% there'll be some tips that will be able to help you. But if you want your shop to be entered in the next video, go drop my Instagram a follow and turn on my story notifications. And as well, while we're talking about notifications, turn on notifications for this channel so you get notified whenever I post a new video. But if you haven't already subscribed, do that as well and then click the bell. You'd be crazy not to. But let's get into our first shop, which is Vintage Vendors. I would say your account is so solid the whole way around. There's only one thing that I would change, and that would be getting rid of the numbered condition. Only because number condition is hugely up to interpretation. My 9 out of 10, like you put here, could be very different to your 9 out of 10. And as well, one other thing, this might literally just be the post that I clicked on. I would rotate your photos or your tags, just because it makes your photo sequence looks so much nicer. But apart from that, I've got no complaints about your shop. But moving on to our second shop in Finch Vintage. He's a really calm seller. Go drop him a follow. All of these shops that are featured in this video will be linked in the description. But I've got no real complaints for your shop. The only thing that I would say is maybe break up your descriptions. But I know you have at the bottom, but at the top where most of the important information is, it's all quite cluttered together, which makes it quite hard to read. I know I used to find that about my posts, so I broke it up. As you can see, there is a lot of text and a lot going on, but by just breaking it up slightly makes it so much more easier to read. And as well, one other thing that I would do, you've done it for all of your tops and t-shirts and jumpers, I would add measurements to trousers. It's really simple to do. I'll link the video up in the cards on how to measure your clothes. It includes all the measurements I do for trousers. I think they'll really help sell these items. But apart from that, no real complaints. Solid account the whole way round. Now moving on to our third account in Charlie K04. One thing I would add to the post, which I've said about before, which I think is so huge, is measurements. I know you have put message me to provide measurements, but say you're away from your items or you can't measure your items for a couple of hours, you've potentially there just lost the sale. And as well, if you just threw your measurements in there in the first place, you've cut out that whole conversation and the buyer could there just buy the item there and then, saving yourself some time and as well just increasing the chance of the item selling quicker. But another thing I would do is break up the first line of your description and have the condition in its own like little section. Just then I think it will make it a little bit more easier to read and just kind of look at for a buyer. And at just a quick glance, the buyer will be able to see the condition of the item really quickly and really easily. And as well, some of your photos like this are the tags are on their side, which can be easily fixed. But little things like that I think really do go a long way. And another thing that I would do is refresh your items more frequently. This might just be a one-off. I might have just caught you at a bad time, but I like to refresh my items 3 times a day, and it does take me about 15 minutes each time, but I'd 100% say it's worth it. And as well, just by refreshing your items, you've got the chance of making so many more sales, just where your item will get bumped to the top of the search, or at least higher up the search. But apart from that, your account is solid the whole way round. But moving on to our fourth shop in Orbis Vintage. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I think I've got it right though. One thing, as I said before, I would break up your descriptions because you've got all the right information, but looking at that block of text, I think it's quite overwhelming. It looks like a lot of information, but if you just broke that up slightly, it'd be so much more easy just to read. As I've said, comparing your one to my one, personally, this is just my fault. I think that's a lot easier to read, just where it's slightly more segregated and it doesn't look as intimidating. I would as well add some hashtags to your description. It's not huge, but they definitely do help. Some help's better than no help. And as well, as I said before, just rotating some of your tags will make your post look a lot more consistent and a lot more professional. But the good thing is I only could find about 4 max that had this issue with them. But once again, great shop and a really nice seller. Go drop his shop a follow. But then moving on to our 5th shop in Loathe and the Thor. I'm so sorry that I butchered that. But literally, your account is so solid. Your descriptions are spot on. I really like how you've done an actual description for the item. But literally, your account is so solid the whole way around. Once you get some more sales and get some more reviews in, your shop will be absolutely killing it. But as I said, I've literally got no complaints for your shop at all. But moving on to our 6th account in Gaz_0123. Once again, another seller that I've spoken to. Go drop him a follow. There's a couple of things I would change about your account. First of all, the first thing that I would change would be the first line of a lot of your descriptions. For example, for this Hollister piece, the first line of your description here is not going to come up in a lot of search results, just where you haven't used that many keywords. For example, what I would put for this item is Hollister graphic printed t-shirt. Just so then you're coming up in as many search results related to the item as physically possible. Because where at the moment you haven't used that many keywords, the only keyword really there is t-shirt. And just by having that, you're not going to be able to come up in the most amount of searches. And as I've said before, I would maybe break up your descriptions just a tiny bit more. Maybe just having the measurements in their own section, the colour and the condition in its own section, just so it's a little bit easier to read. But it is great that you have got all that information included in there. And as well with your descriptions, just making them a little bit more consistent. Like this one here is pretty much the perfect example. If you could get all of your descriptions looking like this would be great. There's only one thing that I would maybe change about this description though, maybe just swap around the first and the second line. But as I said, if you could get all your descriptions looking like this, that would be perfect. You're maximizing everything there, and as well your descriptions will look clean. And as well, one last thing, I would maybe try and do flat lays or model photos if you can, just because I think flat lay and model photos display the item significantly better than hanger photos. But if you apply all those tips to your account and keep going, I think you'll be doing really well in the future. But moving on to our 7th shop in King's Classics. The first thing that I would try and do is maybe try and change your username just to something along the lines of King's Classics or something like that, just so you're a lot more easily searchable by a buyer that has maybe shopped with you before and wants to shop with you again, or even someone who's just looking for your account from your Instagram account, which as well I would link in the description, just because you're more likely to get people to actually head over there if it's linked, just where they don't have to type out your Instagram by themselves. But moving on to your actual post, what I would add to your description is measurements. Measurements, I've said it already in the video, are so key. They're an amazing thing to have for your post, just because where you are selling vintage items, the sizing is different for pretty much every item. Like one medium could be completely different to another medium. So just by adding their measurements, you're so much more likely to make sales. I would as well, as I've already said in this video, get rid of the numbered condition, because number condition is hugely up to interpretation. And as well, to your post, I would add hashtags, tags and colors. They're really simple to do. They won't make you loads more sales, but they definitely will help you in making sales without a doubt. One thing I would do as well, you have included them on a lot of your posts, get rid of the spam tags, e.g. the Supreme, Nike, Off-White, all that, because all that's going to do is hurt your post more than it's going to help it, because Depop are really cracking down on spam tags now. And as well, for some of your posts, you have done it for the majority, I would just add in a photo of the back and the tags. Like for some of them you haven't added the back and some of them you haven't added the tags, I would just add them in, because people do really want to see them. I know for this example you have added the tags, but then you haven't added the back. But then for this one, you haven't added either of those things, but just by doing that, you're more likely to make a sale, just where the buyer can see more of the item, so they're more likely to buy it. I would also refresh your items more frequently, because I know for some of your items like this one, it says 5 days ago. It literally takes seconds to refresh your items. All you got to do is just click edit and then click save, and there you go, you've refreshed your items. And as I've said already in this video, just by doing that, you'll push yourself to the top of the search results, and by doing that, you're more likely to make sales. But that's about all. I think if you apply all those steps to your shop will be doing really well, because you have got some solid stock on there, including the item that I was just on, the Supreme Gons jacket. Supreme X Gons is the best Supreme collection. But once again, another really nice seller that I've spoken to, so go drop him a follow. But moving on to a couple of other shops that did enter in the poll, but there's nothing I would change about your accounts, including Jack's Vintage, really nice shop, I really like your photos. Polar Bear Vintage, who is verified, so I don't think you need any tips from me, you're already killing it. NL Vintage Attire, once again another really calm seller that I've spoken to, go drop him a follow, with a really solid account, but as soon as you get some more sales and some more reviews in, your shop will be absolutely killing it. You've got some sick stock and your description's a 10 out of 10. PLUR Vintage, once again another all-round solid shop with a really cool logo. Absolutely nothing to complain about at all about your shop. And then Retro HQ, once again another all-round solid shop with some really good descriptions and some really good photos and some really good stock, including these NASCAR t-shirts, which I really like. But that is all the shops that are going to be included in this video. If you did enjoy the video, please drop the video a like. It'd be so appreciated. And as well, subscribe to my channel to help me hit 1K by the end of the year. It'd be so appreciated. And of course, to never miss content like this in the future. And as I've said, while you're there, you'd be crazy not to ring the bell. But some really good shops in this video. As I've already said, they'll all be linked in the description. But if you want to know what my Depop is, it's up on the screen and it's linked in the description, where Mexican ponchos like this are available, and so much more. And as well, if you want to see your shop featured in the next one of these videos, go drop my Instagram a follow, which I've already said is in the description, and as well, go turn on the story notifications so you don't miss the entry slot. But as I said, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. I do hope you found some tips that can help improve your Depop shop. But once again, as I've already said, please drop the video a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below any videos you'd like to see in the future.
Big drop top and I'm rolling, and I told my girl I'ma be up till the morning, feeling like I'm 2-3 cause you know I'm zoning.